The thoughts, views, expressions, and opinions of this podcast, as well as its hosts, are for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. We simply want to encourage, shed insight, empower, equip, and inspire those who listen. We are not trained professionals or claim to be. It does not constitute or take place of actual advice from your doctor or therapist. We hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Because not only, yes, it does make it easier, but I've also been behind the camera, so it kind of just makes it easier to deal with it.
To deal with it.
Because I look at the things that people don't want to look at.
You're very attention to detail in that aspect, bro.
You know, even PJ said that like if I ever got like anything more artistic, that I could be. What was the not lighting, but some sort of not cinematographer, but the person who's like in charge of how everything looks. Mm-hmm. Because I just look at the details. Like I like looking at the details to find like the things that most people kind of overlook. Sounds like how I studied the Bible too.
Really?
Bro, this arm is going to annoy me the entire podcast. I might just take this off.
No, because you're doing it wrong.
Because it won't stay up.
Because do it this way.
We're professional, everybody.
And then that way. And then, yeah. Hold on.
Hey, you wanted your outtakes. Here they are.
Because...
You know what? I'm buying the bullet. No. I'm buying the bullet.
My mic is slipping.
That's fine.
too.
You just talk into it.
I can't. I like it.
The thing is
Oh, this is bloopers galore right here.
Oh, listen. If you put this in the podcast, I will be absolutely stunned. Episode 88, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have done this for almost 100 podcasts, and yet we still can't figure out the mics.
That's good.
yeah.
All right, and then this is what I do. So it's just easier. Just like that. It should pick up your.
I'll be to the right.
Yeah. Let's go. All right.
So, episode 88, everybody. Welcome to another Kingdom Talks pod with your not host, Tyler Wyman. Sitting next to me is the host who, after he's taken a drink, will take it from here because this is his shtick, not mine.
I don't even do intros anymore.
No, you don't.
I do not.
Here's the thing. Again, I like the just hop into the conversation type of feel. I think it's...
Well, in my YouTube, I have like a set intro. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And I put like the caption.
Yeah, I see it. I see it sometimes. Like I prefer the audio. That's because usually when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to, die.
Die.
When angels deserve to die.
I hope the AC like kicks on.
It is kind of warm.
It is warm here. I'm wearing a freaking vest right now. I'm about to take this off. So how was your weekends? You guys ready for Thanksgiving?
Great. I'm so ready.
You're so ready to eat? Are you going to make it?
I'm so ready.
Is your family, let me ask you this. Is your family, because I know that you're Hispanic, such as I, do you guys make like a whole ordeal of like making the day its an entirety to eat, or do you eat at a certain time? Or do you eat all day until you get to like the main feast?
So typically, me and my mom would cook until dinner time.
You're good. I just don't want to cover your mouth.
Yeah, we would cook until dinner time, and in the midst of everything, just like listening to music, playing games. My dad and my brother would just like play video games. It's different now that we're in Florida. Because the rest of my family's in New York.
Right.
But yeah, eat dinner together, and then watch movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And just eat leftovers for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What about you, Ty?
I'm doing my traditional thing. I'm gonna go see Grandma.
Nice.
Go hang out at Grandma's house. Especially since Grandpa can't really move that well now. So we're just gonna go to Grandma's. Marla's joining us this year.
Nice.
And it's gonna be good. My sister's gonna be in town.
Yeah.
She drives back from school Thanksgiving morning.
Right.
Supposedly. My grandfather's in town. In fact, I just saw him right before I came over.
Cool.
Right before I came over, so he flew in from Tennessee. And yeah, so we're just gonna go hang out at Grandma's all day.
Are you the hangout guy or like the eater guy? Because there's people that just love Thanksgiving just to strictly eat till they can't.
So here's the thing, bro. I've had like 3 Thanksgivings already, from like Friendsgiving to that Vetsgiving we went to.
Oh yeah, we went to a cool Vetsgiving.
We went to a really cool Vetsgiving. If you ever have a chance to go hang out with veterans, first off, do it.
Yeah.
Second off, especially if they're Marines.
Yeah.
On the Marine Corps birthday, November 10th.
Shout out to the Marine Corps out there. Hoorah.
Special shout out to our 2 lovely ladies.
Yeah.
Who both served.
Yeah.
So I've had like 3 Thanksgivings at this point. So I'm kind of like, I'm not saying over Thanksgiving. It's just like my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, bro, I'm starting to get stuffed at the same time. I'm like, I'm just half expected like Christmas music to play in my car.
No.
You got the appetizers of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. And so I'm just ready for, because within a couple days after Thanksgiving, we're going back to Grandma's and we're going to decorate an entire house for Christmas.
Nice.
That's also become a tradition for us, is just to go to Grandma's, hang out, decorate the whole place, trees, garlands, lights.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
So it's just and Grandma bakes little cookies sometimes, and so we're gonna go just spend some. It's gonna be a lot of family time in the next few days. So.
As it should. I mean, it is a blessing because not everyone can say that, but. I hope that for everyone listening, I hope that you guys can make the time out to listen to this podcast episode. It's not really Thanksgiving themed, but we are going to talk about what we're grateful for, because I believe in the attitude of gratitude. Yes. I believe that that's like a cheat code in life, is having the attitude of gratitude, because if you're always chipper and grateful for things, it kind of bleeds into into so many areas of your life where you can look at things in a more positive perspective.
Excuse me, I'm going to do Lindsay.
Rather than shout outs to Linz.
Shout out Lindsay.
But yeah, I think that having like that gratitude of just being grateful for life in itself, for the little things that we sometimes miss, especially here in our culture. We miss the little things. Like we tend to take the little things for granted, like having a cell phone and being able to drive and grabbing your keys and going for a drive. Like some of these other quote unquote third world countries, or countries that are not as blessed as America, as biased as that may sound, being that I live in America, but I wouldn't trade this country for any other country. As much as it goes through its ups and downs and its foreign policies changing, and politics always being like in the forefront of conversations because of who's in the White House.
Hyperpolarization of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So like I wouldn't trade this country for the world. Like this is still a free country, the free world that we live in, but in the same breath, like we take things for granted because we live in this beautiful country. Yes. So like, as I said, like picking up a cell phone, making a phone call, having a roof over our heads, having clean water, like clean water. There's people who are building wells right now in Africa because some of these African regions can't get clean water. Speaking of which, Mr. Beast was on the headlines about.
If you get mad about that, bro,
yeah, like
shut up.
I don't understand why they're mad at Mr. Beast for going to Africa and like building over 100 and something wells.
Here's the thing: the man could do everything right, and he could do everything right, and people would still get mad. He could have like done it here in America and be like, "Well, why don't you do that internationally? Help every other people." Like it's like they're never satisfied with like it's like, okay, what have you done in Africa?
Yeah. And I feel like I'm not a Mr. Beast apologist because there's some things that I do agree with him with, and there's other things that are definitely, questionable and problematic, and the way sometimes the circles that he kind of lives in, and he claims that he's a Christian and his buddies claim they're Christian, but then his real Christian friend came out and said, I'm not a Christian anymore. I want to identify as a female. And we don't have to get into all that. But as far as Mr. Beast and his platform and what he utilizes the platform for, a lot of it is positive in my eyes, unless I'm missing something. Like most of his stuff that he does is positive.
Yeah, and even he says, he's like, I don't want to have any money.
What was that?
He's like, he doesn't want to have any money.
He doesn't want to have any money.
Any money that comes in from his YouTube, he pours it back into his YouTube, and he's just like, I like helping people. His very first video, his actually very first video ever. He actually talks about it.
Right.
I've only seen a few of his interviews, but it's like his very first video is like him giving someone like $10,000.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, why don't you keep throwing stuff? He's like, I don't want any of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, I mean.
Yeah, he was like one of the originators in that YouTube space where the paying it forward was like, he was making it like a cool, like trendy thing. But he did it with class. He didn't do it like he was mocking people. Because you know how sometimes people just throw money at people and they treat them like peasants? Yeah. Mr. Beast was like, in his humility, he was like, yo, like I see that you have a struggling business. Like, what can I do to help you? And does $30,000 help? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll walk to the random person at the mall, and this is early Mr. Beast, like early on when he was just out with his boy and his iPhone, and they were just recording stuff for content. And like early on, like he would go to the malls and he would go to like just random places, and he'll meet people like, here's $100. Like he'll ask them a couple questions, and he's like, well, here's $50. You know what I'm saying? And then now he has such a following, and he's obviously generating revenue that he could afford to fly out to Africa, for example, and have the grand idea to help certain, I forget the affiliates that are actually doing the groundwork out there in Africa that are building these wells. Yeah. And then it just came out the other day that there's backlash because Mr. Beast is behind it. So what does that make him like? Is he's I don't feel like he's pushing any propaganda or he's patronizing anybody.
The only propaganda he pushes is like, hey, go watch my YouTube videos.
That's pretty much what it is.
I mean, literally, that's all. He's like, hey, like we did this cool thing, go watch it because that generates more ad revenue for him, which means he can put more back into his videos. Right. Like he could not. Like that's one thing I have to respect about him. Again, like controversies or whatever aside. Like, I respect the fact that he like goes out of his way to want to help people. Yeah, yeah. And it's like if he wanted to, he could be like a Jake Paul. He could be like all these other YouTubers, like making millions of dollars and like buying all this friends and stuff. It's like he lives in his studio, right? Like he's like such a he really is. He lives simply. He's a humble dude. Yeah, like he doesn't care for any of that. Right. Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And you know what really bothers me too is our people. And when I say our people is the Christian community. I was
about to say, what do you mean you people?
They dig on him. Like these Christian like hardcore right or whatever you want to call them, but the people that like just make a fuss about everything. Like they're the ones that go pick it in front of Starbucks and say whatever they want to say and yell at Starbucks for doing something outside of a Christmas tradition. Like, that's not what we're called to do. We're called to make disciples out of all nations. We're called to do things to expand the kingdom. We are called to preach the gospel. We're called to essentially be image bearers and evangelists of the good word. Not to stand in picket lines and picket in front of Starbucks, picket in front of Target, picket in front of abortion clinics. Like, we don't need to do all of that. And then here we are, going at Mr. Beast and getting all like biblical and literally taking the Bible out of context. You know the verse I'm talking about where the right hand shouldn't what's that? I'm gonna butcher it.
It's the right hand should not. Oh crap! You're gonna make me think about it. The right hand should not tell the left hand what it's doing.
Right?
Something like
so
that.
in other words, they're digging at Mr. Beast because he goes online and on platform and say, "Hey, look at me! I'm helping the poor and the oppressed and whatever." But I don't think that's his heart. And I think it's a narrative that these Christians, and I'm sorry that I'm even using it in air quotes, but like,
I mean, you'd be justified in doing that though,
right?
I mean, because realistically, I mean, it annoys me, and I even saw a video the other day of someone's like, he's like, I stopped believing in faith because of the Christians.
Right.
I stopped believing in faith because of the way they were treating me, how they treat. It's like the holier than thou, the hypocritical. Which I mean, we all make mistakes. We're all like sinful, 100%. You know. But even he was just like, I mean, he's this very influential dude that like, it's like, yo, this guy could be reaching millions of people right now for Christ, and he wants nothing to do with it because Christians thought he should have been doing something specifically only what they were thinking.
Right. And it's sad.
And that's why like I can't. If you're a cheesy Christian, I'm like, please leave. Like, please, like I'm sorry. Call me edgy, call whatever. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I fight this with my mind sometimes. It's like, you know, I want to be like, I kind of want to be that cheesy Christian where it's like, oh, like da da da. But at the same time, it's like I'm also like, look, like God's given me this perspective. God's given me this ability to look at the world in this way because it's a little more realistic. You know, I need to look at it that way. You know, because this is the path that God has put me on. If I want to be a cheesy Christian, I can live that cheesy lifestyle, but I would get annoyed with it. Right. I get annoyed with them now. I could never fully live it. You know, I was there at some point then. Yeah. But I think the farther along in my spiritual walk that I've gotten, you know, certain things I'm kind of like, look, you know, that's great. You know, I want to praise you for wanting to do everything through Christ because I mean, even oh gosh, I'm going to butcher it again. You got me in the spot. 1 Corinthians, it's like, you know, do everything for the Lord.
Yeah.
Everything for the Lord first. You know, and that's great, that's awesome, but that doesn't mean you have to be so cheesy about it that it actually is corny, is actually highly annoying to the point where I want to claw my own eyes out.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad, and it's unfortunate too because, like, again, if we were to just see past all of that, I feel like it's all about building relationships essentially because I think that's what Jesus did essentially when he was here walking on earth. He was actually building relationships. He was getting to the core and the root of the issue, which is the sin, right? So it's a sin issue. So if we look at it in that lens as a sin issue, then it would be easier for us to, you know, chop it up and build and build a relationship and have dialogue instead of pushing these narratives that are abrasive and essentially divisive, you know?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I like to call it legalism.
Sometimes
it could be
that's exactly what it is sometimes.
Sometimes I call it religious because, you know, faith by works is so or faith without works
is
we're
dead.
all
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. So doing one thing or another makes you higher or lower on God's list is not a thing.
Right. Absolutely. It shouldn't at all. But I think that we can get so many things done for the kingdom if we partner up with people like Mr. Beast, where we can do things as a collaborative and then sprinkle some Jesus in there and open up dialogue to be like, yo, this is what I do. I like to show you what I do. And if it opens up dialogue where he is intrigued and there's interest, hit him with the gospel and then let Jesus do his thing, because the Holy Spirit will definitely intervene in that area, because it's not up to us to save.
Correct.
It's not up to us to convert people into Christianity or to be a believer or a follower of Christ. It's not really up to us. It's just more us being the vessels that God created us to be the bridge to get people to see Christ, hear Christ, feel Christ. And I think that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful picture. And what could it look like if there wasn't so many weirdos out there?
That's exactly what it is. Weirdo.
Megaphone guy, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, like it just gets so goofy. And speaking of which, like I have this cool video. This is a perfect example as to how you can introduce the topic of Jesus. This was a guy that goes around a downtown area and interviews people and asks them random questions. And he stopped and asked this girl this question. Yeah, let me...
Is this downtown West Palm Beach, or is this just a random downtown?
I think it's downtown West Palm. Huh. Here we go.
Because, I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Look at this. Watch this.
Why do women cheat?
Oh my gosh, that is the best question that I've heard all day. I'll tell you why. It's because people are searching for love and they're looking in the wrong places. And actually, I'm here to tell you that only true love is found in Jesus. And no one should cheat on anyone, but the problem is we're all broken and we're all separated from God. But God didn't want that separation, and that's why he sent Jesus to die on the cross for us. And Jesus bridged the gap between you and true love. And you don't have to cheat. No one has to cheat because we have the best love and no one can take it away from us. And so, yeah, if you guys don't have Jesus in your heart, all you have to do is say, Jesus, I ask you to come into my heart, be my Lord, give me this love that I need, make me right, let me know what true love is. And I'm telling you, you'll never be the same. It'll be the best decision of your life. 10 years ago, I was suicidal. I didn't want to live. Found real love, and that's what I'm here to tell you about today.
Look at that.
Perfect.
All right, so that's the podcast, everyone. Good night.
Good night. I'm done.
We're done. Can't top that.
Beautiful. That's such a beautiful, eloquent way.
That was very eloquently put.
She nailed it. She nailed it. This guy was literally walking around. He had a bunch of different videos, and he was asking random chicks that are coming out of the clubs, of the bars in the downtown area, and he was asking, why do women cheat, or why are men toxic? And he was just asking these buzzword-worthy, content-worthy sake for the content for people to go viral, because they'll say some outlandish things to answer these types of questions. And she just came with it, bro, unapologetically, unashamed of the gospel. And that's kind of like where I want to be at, because sometimes I get a little nervous when I'm out there,
100%.
Especially like I remember going to Miami in downtown Brickell, and I was out with my buddy this a couple years ago, and we had stopped, and some guy just kind of walked up to us and started having conversation with us, and we were just talking about life and things of that nature. And there was like a little tug in my heart. I was like, yo, you should share the gospel. You should share the gospel. But me, in my humanity, I'm like, oh, it's not the right time. He might take it the wrong way. I don't want to impose. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? There's always like these logical, quote unquote, excuses to not share the gospel. Yeah. Like, have you ever had the moment where you said no to the gospel?
Yes.
Keep it 100.
And
keep it a
I
buck.
felt so horrible.
Yeah.
But I try to give myself grace in those moments.
Yeah.
And just ask God, like, what can I do better next time?
Yeah.
And mainly it's like anxiousness for me. I think it's different because I'm a woman.
Do you have like social anxiety?
I wouldn't really say. I don't like it when I don't know how someone's going to react. And that's just in an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a people pleaser?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So control, I guess it is. Right?
Are you an empath? No, I'm
All right, let's start psychoanalyzing you.
Yeah, I think about, I don't want to offend someone.
Yeah.
It's 2023. You breathe, you offend somebody.
I probably will, yeah. But to solve that issue, I've created Bible tracts before because I'm artsy. So I just went on my design stuff, got postcards printed on Vistaprint, and I would just hop out of my car, slip it on somebody's door, and run back into my car.
Oh, really?
Or I'll carry them with me if I go into a supermarket, and I'll just slip it between a cereal box.
That's cool.
Or Post-its are cool
Yeah,
too.
That's cool.
With verses, anything.
I need to steal this idea. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because when it's like, talk to them, I'm like, so yeah.
But
we came up with a solution.
Yeah, that's cool. But like videos like that, for me anyway, the way my brain is wired, the way my heart's set up, seeing that like puts a fire in me, and I'm like, yo, like I'm in that team. That's my team. Like I want to represent just like she did. Do you feel like because we live in the social media driven society, like we're always scrolling, we're always behind, the in front of the phone and scrolling. Like, do you feel like seeing that type of content Does that create that desire or fire in
definitely. Especially
because Tyler was ready to get out of here and go evangelize after this hearing.
Yeah, she's just so open about it.
Right.
You know, like it feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
She turns something negative into something positive.
Right.
You know, she's like,
because the question was very like direct. He's like, why do women cheat?
Yeah. We don't have to, and
right.
it's true. And she mentions the fact that we're not perfect.
Right.
And all you have to do is, Jesus, I accept you.
Mm-hmm.
Change my heart, and it all boils down to love.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you happen to ever listen to this podcast, well done.
Yeah.
And please go into seminary.
Yeah.
Please get some sort of formal training. Not that you need it, but because there's so much. Oh my gosh, I want to know where she's at right now.
Yeah.
I want to find her internet. Do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
I would be afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad he posted it.
Yeah, he posted it. He posted it on his channel.
He couldn't have posted it.
Right.
He could have been like, nah, no one wants to hear this crap.
Yeah, exactly.
But he posted it. And I don't know if that gentleman that does that type of content is a Christian or comes from a Christian family or anything like that. But kudos to him for even posting it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you guys are listening, we're going to have fun today. It's a fun little pod. It's Thanksgiving pod because we're gearing up for Thanksgiving.
30 minutes in, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah. And it's episode 88. Woo!
This is only the third time we've introduced this episode. Because I have no idea how much you're going to cut out from the bloopers.
88. Episode 88. I'm excited about episode 88. We're going to jump into some questions. Me and Tyler, back in the day when we first started this thing, we used to call
Bag of Questions.
We used to call episodes Bag of Questions. We would dedicate an hour and a half on just answering people's questions. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to dedicate about 10, 15 minutes of a couple questions that I like to pose to you guys.
We have never heard these before.
I love answering questions.
And
never seen these before.
You guys
this
never.
Is all fresh.
These are all fresh. And
no pressure.
And it's cool that we're doing it on a 3-person panel because now we get a male and female perspective here because we got Kayla in the house. We got Kayla back. This is your third one, right?
Yeah.
Your third one.
By the way,
Exciting.
I love how this whole conversation has gone, and we're just now introducing people.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoever's listening the first time is like, who are these people?
Yeah.
I'm Kayla. Hello.
Yeah.
Nice to
This
meet
is
you.
Kayla. If you guys don't recognize, for all my day ones out there that have been listening, like Patrick and Frank and all you guys that tune in and listen and always gives me kudos online. Shout out to you guys. But if you guys don't know who this man is, he's been my day one, my resident co-host here. He's been here since the beginning, guys. So I appreciate this man. I appreciate his perspective. I appreciate what he has to say. And we're not professionals. We're not, by any means, we're not pros. We just want to
say if this whole beginning of the episode has not been complete evidence enough as it is.
You're right.
We don't do professional.
We're not therapists. We're not doctors. We don't have a doctorate in anything. We just want to empower, equip, and encourage you guys to see the light, and the light is Jesus. So we're gonna go ahead and
There you go. Evangelism.
hey. So we're gonna go ahead and
Clip
get
share.
into some cool questions. There was some pretty edgy questions here, but this is what Kingdom Talks is all about: is the edginess. Oh my God! The other day, a random DM from this dude. I forget where he said he was from. He's like, I've been listening to your podcast for a long time, and I'm from I want to say Virginia. Sorry if I butchered that. And he goes, man, I didn't know that you said shit on the episode because I was listening to one of your early episodes with your black friend, and I'm thinking, oh, that must have been Mike, my buddy Mike, and we both said shit in the thing, and he's like, oh my God, you guys are so edgy, but I don't really feel like that is a cuss, like.
Neither do I.
I don't, but I'm from New York, and so
here we go. All right, we're opening this can of worms. Here we go. All right, so curse words. Which ones do we think are real? Which ones are not?
I know, I don't think shit is a cuss word. I obviously do feel that the F-bomb is nowhere to be said in my.
You're saying one word and not saying the other.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know which one's worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it, and I know that. Your old timers, they're like, oh no, that's the S-bomb. They call it the S-bomb, by the way. That was new.
Shut up, it's the S word. If you say S-bomb,
Yeah.
Get out.
You're very
Yeah.
old.
Get out.
S-bomb, bro.
Speaking of old, we were talking about this earlier. We have 3 generations of. Oh no, you're Gen Z.
Leave me alone.
Right. So
Yeah.
we have two generations of millennials
It
sitting on the
shouldn't
couch
count.
with the Gen Z.
Yeah, we're with the Gen Z representing. Let's go. That's the way you're gonna rep.
I have an old soul.
You do. That's why
That's why
I'm so.
I'm no lie. I really thought you were like a millennial.
Thank you.
So you
Everyone thinks
represent.
I'm like 27, 28.
But you thugging it out here in these
Yes,
streets.
sir.
Let's go. Let's get to these episodes. I mean, questions.
We are in an episode. Thank you.
We're on episode 88. We already covered that, so we're gonna go ahead and get in some questions. I'm over here for Getting How to Pod. Like I haven't been doing this for darn near 3 years now. Anyway,
100 episodes.
yeah, we're gonna hit that.
Almost there.
It's coming up fast, bro.
Yeah, it's coming out real
We
fast.
gotta work on some things.
All right, here we go. Question
Okay.
number 1. This is for all of us, so it's not.
Okay.
So you guys can jump in whenever.
No.
Do you believe professional Christian athletes use their platforms or should use their platforms more to preach the gospel?
Okay, hold on. I have a couple side questions. What standard are you using?
Yeah, I don't know, and I wish they would have given it. But here's what I'll say. I'll say something real quick, and then Tyler, you can jump in. For every Tim Tebow out there, there's 100 non-Tim Tebows out there with a platform, with a voice that chooses not to share the gospel because they don't want to get canceled, they don't want to be talked about, they just want to keep their theology private. And that's cool. But you're not going to have 1,000 Team Tebows out there. Now, Deion Sanders is a very outspoken Christian who would get on ESPN, on FS1 Sports, on all this, and will preach Jesus. It's out there. Like, go Google it. You'll see Deion Sanders talk about his Lord and Savior with Shannon Sharp, with Skip Bayless, with Stephen A. Smith, with all these guys. And even when he took reins to coach for the University of Colorado, he would even say at the post interviews, "I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior for even getting me here. I'm ready to answer your questions." Like, he would say that, and that's cool. That's really dope. Tim Tebow wearing 316 under his eye black, that's awesome too. He's obviously very unapologetic about his faith. He obviously uses voice and things like that. Would we love to see more Tim Tebows and Deion Sanders out there? Absolutely. So to answer your questions, I think, yes, I do believe that Christian pro athletes should use their platforms to preach more of the gospel. What say you, Miss Kayla?
So I'm unashamed of the gospel. I don't
Romans
care.
1:16.
In workplaces, they will find out somehow. But I'm not like a throw it in your face or constantly judging what you're doing. So I know for some people it might take a little bit to get comfortable with having that unashamed mentality.
Okay.
So I don't think I am anyone to judge what they do with their platform, but it would be nice. More representation. And to give other people courage too. Yeah,
and that'll empower a new generation of people that to do the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Ty?
I think you need to pay attention more because they're actually out there, and I don't think and I think most people don't give them the credit they deserve,
right?
Because it's not the brand or the look of Christianity that they want to see. And that's something I will stand by. Come at me, bro. I'll put it on Twitter. Fight me. Yes, you can find me on Twitter. I'm on there somewhere. No, I do agree with both of you. Where it's I do think there are a lot of people who should be a little more outspoken about their faith, but I also think there are plenty of guys who are actually very outspoken about their faith.
Right.
It's just it doesn't get much attention, and we don't really hear much about it.
Right.
There are a lot of Christians in the sports world. Of course, there's still a lot of non-Christians in the sports world. 100%.
Right.
But
or who identify as Muslim.
Things like that. But I think of course, there's a time and place for everything. But I mean, you have the biggest stage in the world. Yes, you can absolutely use that as an ability to share the gospel, and that's something that you should do. But again, I think there are more people who are out there who do that, but they don't. But they don't seek a platform. They seek to be personal, to develop those relationships, to develop disciples. So, I mean, Javi, you and I talk about this all the time. The best pastors in the world, you will never hear their names.
Right.
You will never know who they are.
Yeah.
The best pastors, hands down. The group of pastors that I'm with,
yeah,
all those guys, I'm like, bro, these guys are like 10 times better than some of the pastors I've met on the like big stages.
Right.
They are just genuine, real, and I'm like, I think it's also the same way for people who have that type of platform.
Yeah.
Like they don't want a platform.
Right.
Like they have it, but they're like, I don't want that type of platform because I want to be personal. I want to share my faith with the people, get to know, like, you know, there's different ways of being able to worship God and be able to spread the gospel without having to need to like, everyone look at me, you know, Jesus Christ is Lord. And it's like, yes, like, you know, that video that we listened to earlier with the girl, that was perfect. That was great. She has no platform.
Yeah. That we know of.
That we know. But what did she do? She shared it in a moment. Okay, that one moment now reached thousands of people. We may not see that more often with, like I said, with sports personalities or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But I'm like, I bet you if they asked them, they would give that something a very similar answer, and you would never know. Yeah. And I applaud the people who stay Christian even in that type of atmosphere. Yeah. That is not necessarily very. I'm trying to use a word. My brain's dead right now. That's very conductive of staying Christian.
Yeah, good answer. Love that answer. All right, this is gonna get cooler and very edgy. All right, no,
hit me with it, bro. We have tattoos. We're all very edgy.
Right. Should courtship or dating, but they put courtship, have a timeline?
Didn't we answer this? We answered this at some point.
Did we?
No.
We absolutely answered this.
All right, Kayla, what would your answer be?
No.
Okay.
Can you do it again?
No. Why are we putting a timeline on things that are supposed to be in God's hands?
Oh, slay!
All right, so since you're the only girl in the house right now, right? You've obviously dated in the past, and you've gone through the gauntlet of dating, and you're relatively, you're young, obviously.
Unfortunately,
with an old soul, we're gonna say. Do you find yourself like as a woman, find yourself like in a rush to get to that place where marriage is around the corner? Do you find yourself in a rush because of your biological clock that the ladies have?
For most women, that's what you dream about. You dream about the proposal, you dream about the wedding, you dream about the marriage, you dream about kids and building a home with your partner. So it's very normal for you to have this anxiousness inside of you while you're courting someone, right? I think dating is dating and courting is dating to marry, right? I could be mistaken.
Pastor?
Well, I mean, people say it differently. So you think courting is essentially I'm getting to know you, but our ultimate goal is marriage, and I'm not messed around.
Yeah, like we're not playing games.
Okay, I think dating and courting. I think the way that you put it, I think is pretty.
So, yeah, courting. I'm courting someone now, and marriage is the topic of marriage is there. Yeah. But I do know that being realistic, you genuinely need to get to know someone. Yeah. And I see a lot of people in the Christian community who rush that. And they rush it for the wrong reasons and end up realizing down the road, oh my gosh, who is this person?
Yeah. And end up divorced as a Christian.
Exactly.
Yikes.
Yes.
And I know a couple.
Let me get comfortable.
I know a couple, unfortunately, that went that path and found themselves divorced, and one of them is actually remarried. But that's neither here nor there. I think that you're right. Absolutely. I think that some people are so pressed to living this lifestyle to look godly and holy in front of a congregation. Yep. So they gotta, we can't have sex before marriage, so we gotta make sure we get married and we do this and we do that, and then the baby, and then it's too rushed. I feel like,
yeah. So that's God's timing. God's timing is not always going to follow what we want. Not at all.
Yeah, I stand with Kayla on that one, on the question. So I'm gonna go. I concur.
No
Tyler?
timeline.
No timeline.
If I hear one more person say the phrase, "What are you waiting for?" I'm gonna smack them. I am overhearing this phrase because here's the thing. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you, Kayla. I think you hit. In fact, I just had this conversation today with one of Marla's sisters. No lie, just like conversating about whatever thing. And of course, Marla and I were together and courting and all that stuff. And of course, marriage has been talked about. Yeah, there's no secret.
Right.
And even though some of the pastor guys I hang out with, I know sometimes they've read me a little bit with different things, but they're like, "Well, don't you love it? Why, what's the wait? Why are you waiting?" And then even like there's some people close to us that's like, "Oh, well, like trying to hurry us up in the marriage." And we're kind of like, "Calm yourself."
Yeah.
But I also have to remember, just like you guys said, it's in the Christian world. It's always the next thing. It's never the the here and now. It's always the next thing. It's like, oh, you're single. Where your next thing is getting a boyfriend or girlfriend. Yeah. Oh, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Your next thing is you have to get married. Your next thing is now you have to get a house. Your next thing is you have to have kids. The next thing, and there's always a next, and it's never good enough. Even almost until death, it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's annoying to hear. It's like, oh well, like okay, yes, it all is 100% in God's timing. But why do we allow the Christian culture to take over what God's timing actually is?
Exactly.
That's exactly.
And it is annoying to hear it time and time again. And because I even get it from Will. Will, I love you, Will. He great mentor. He sometimes would say, "Well, man, why are you waiting?" It's like, okay, well, let me give you some realistic examples. Okay, not that I don't want to marry her. I 100% do. I've told this to her face. Right. I've told this to her family. Right. I'm very public with that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. We live in Florida. Her family lives in Texas.
Right.
It's expensive.
Right.
Like to get everyone here. Of course, we're having it here. We live in a destination wedding. You think we're going to go to Texas? No, we're coming here. So
that part.
Saying
that part.
No, but it's like okay, well, family and like yes, it's not about the actual wedding. It's about our marriage.
Yeah.
But we also want to do the wedding right to honor the family, to honor our families, to celebrate the starting of a brand new family and uniting of families. Mm-hmm. Of course, we want to honor that, but we also want to take our time with it because God forbid, if for whatever reason, I'm not saying that it is. If for some reason, if God's saying, "Hey, this is not the person for you," I'm rushing into it to just get divorced. I'm rushing into it to just this. I'm always because even there's a gentleman that we know. I'm gonna tell his story. I'm not gonna drop a name.
Yeah.
A guy who used to go to church with us, really, really great guy. He told us later, he was married and then got divorced.
Right.
He and this person felt pushed into it by the church.
Mm-hmm.
Like the entire church got behind them was like, "You need to get married." And so apparently way after the fact they married to each other. Like we were like walking down the aisle like, "Wait, what am I doing?"
Wow.
And then later they got divorced. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because I think part of what Christians miss is they miss the living in the moment, living in Christ in this moment.
Just being present.
Exactly.
And being present in this moment. Because it's like, yes, marriage is important. Yes, it is a huge part of Christianity. Yes, there are, kids, making disciples of all nations. He didn't say how to, but he said make disciples.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a sex joke, so they won't caught that. But to just always be pushing for the next thing is also, I feel like, at least in my eyes a little bit, I think that it's a little insulting to God to miss the moments that He gives us. Like, if you're prompted to talk to somebody, Okay, what if you're thinking, oh man, I need to get this person to church? Whoa, you're missing the entire step of even connecting with this person. You're missing the step of being able to actually impact this person's life by sharing the gospel. It's like, oh man, you should come to church. It's like, how about you just talking about Christ first? Not sorry.
That was good.
So the answer is
no timeline. All right, it's getting juicier now. This was a good one too.
Man, we are just going hard tonight.
Let's go. If you're engaged, married, or in a serious relationship, is it okay to hang out with friends of the opposite sex? Oh, Kayla, you got to answer that one. Kayla, answer it.
We are putting you on the spot.
Say it loud and proud. Say it loud and proud.
Boundary.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
You are more than welcome to have friends who are of the opposite sex.
Yeah, I got plenty of those.
Very healthy.
Yep.
We're all human. We're all going to have fun and have different personalities, but it's about respect and boundaries. Don't be in a room by yourself with someone of the opposite sex. Because you never know.
100%.
It may not be your intentions,
100%.
but you never know the other person's intentions. And taking yourself out of that just eliminates a whole bunch of issues.
She's dropping bars. Listen.
Yeah. Yep. That's the number one thing that I talk about first when getting to know someone.
Yeah. What if like a guy wants to weaponize that narrative of, oh, you're just jealous? What would you do in that instance then? Would you entertain the conversation about having a conversation about that?
I personally wouldn't bother anymore. If they think that makes me
jealous and insecure
or jealous, I think they just lack the awareness of the situation. Yeah, you can't be too comfortable to put yourself in situations that can cause you to sin or disrespect your partner or infidelity or whatever the case may be. So the point is not getting close to the line. It's like, how far away can you stay from it?
And what multiple guardrails can I put up to make sure I don't get that?
Exactly. And it's respect for your partner. So that shows they don't respect me. They don't respect my perspective and my needs, right? Because relationships are about sacrifice and compromise. So just deal with it. I'm not comfortable with it. Don't do it. If that's an issue, then you're questionable for sure.
That's really good. Also, though, we are in the society that we're in. Social media is a thing. What about social media? Are there boundaries that needs to be placed in social media? Like who your boyfriend's following, what type of engagement and interactions on social media should your boyfriend be having with liking and commenting on certain pictures?
My perspective is going to be different from another woman. So this is just my personal opinion. And this is just in general, if your boyfriend is liking half-naked women, questionable. What if she's in the beach with a bathing suit and is out with her son, and you like that pic? I think it depends, like what it is that she is representing of herself.
Great answer.
So many people can post things that will be labeled as, oh, I'm with my family, but like, how are you posing? What is the attention that you're trying to get? If she's in an inappropriate position that seems like she wants to show off certain things of herself in a bikini, it's going to be liked by a bunch of people. And if my boyfriend is one of those that likes it and I visibly see it's not appropriate,
you're going to have a conversation.
It's not respectful.
Good one. Yo, you killing it, bruh. You killing it today.
Yo, clip that.
That's being clipped. You know that, right? That's being clipped.
Again.
Wait, timestamp. On the 48th minute. Timestamp it.
So the liking the photos.
Timestamp it.
Who they're following. And DMs. Are we entertaining people?
Are we timestamped there, Ty?
You'll know.
Okay.
You'll know because I ended it, so it's the last part of the second show.
Okay.
Last part of the second one.
Awesome. But
you'll have it.
Are you entertaining people? Like if someone slides in my DMs, right?
Ooh.
And is like, oh, hey girl, where are you from?
Drops that bomb, bro.
Delete. Why I don't need to entertain that.
Hold on, question.
So I expect the
Do you
same.
get a lot of DMs?
No.
We asked Diana
Because
that.
the last time we were here
with
and we asked the girl, I went through her DMs.
Yeah, shouts to Diana.
Horrified.
Hi, Diana. And the other Diana.
Hi, Diana. I was horrified. I'm like, oh my god.
No. When I was single, yeah.
Wait, of course you're very public. Again,
I'm very public with my relationship. So.
Social media. Okay, yeah, because I'm barely on social media, so you guys tell me.
But I will get those very few where it's like, hey girl, and I'm like, dude, go on my page. I'm not single, but to people it doesn't matter anymore.
Nope, that's correct. Yeah.
That's so true, bro.
Especially through social media, because
that's a fact.
It takes 2 seconds for someone to delete a
That's a fact.
and be deceitful.
Yeah.
And hide things from their partner. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah, don't entertain DMs. Who are they following? What pictures are they liking? And yeah, I think someone that you've had like a romantic relationship with, depending on how that went down, you shouldn't follow them.
Right.
But I think that's for their discretion, and it's like, if you disrespect our relationship, that's on you.
Oh, I got people blocked, bro.
Exactly.
I got people blocked. I
know names.
I got exes blocked. I got ex-friends blocked. I even got ex-friends blocked that I don't even F with.
Yep.
I don't even mess with.
My opinion, once again.
And if you're watching this, hey, I'm doing well without you. I don't need you.
I love her. You come at her, I come at you. And I'm bringing the Marines. Anyways. So what was the question?
I don't think we have anything else to say. I think Kayla really.
I was gonna say,
Kayla, I can't add to that. You killed it.
I have so
You
much
crushed
experience in this area.
You crushed it.
You listen, girl. If it's your podcast, girl, we're okay with saying in the back. It's fine. It's cool. I think the one caveat I think I would also add on to that, it's like, I think no matter what, you have to define the relationships that you have around as well. Because, like, now DTR, for anyone who goes to PBA, the DTR wall, that little wall around PBA. Some people know what it is, some people know what it doesn't, but it's the DTR wall. And, like, any female friend I have, they know for a fact they're just a friend.
Yeah.
Like, Navik. Navik is just a friend. Now, granted, she's a really good friend that has been around me for a lot of crap.
Right.
Love you, Navi. Love you to death. But everyone knows where my loyalties lie.
Yep.
100%. Like, I'm very, like, I have a girlfriend. Like, just the other day, I told Marla the story, which was like, oh, yeah, some girl was a little fun. I was like, yes, I'm going to my grandma's house with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, with my girlfriend. Like, I tried to just drop the word girlfriend in the sentence as many times as I possibly could.
Right.
To just draw the line and be like, you have to understand that it is a hard no.
Yep.
Right. It is a hard no. Like, everything you said masterfully.
Yeah.
So,
shouts to King.
Again, clip it, tweet it,
whatever. That's getting clipped.
Share,
getting
besides
clipped.
That, can't add anything about. I mean, yes, can men and women be friends? Yes, they can. But again,
with boundaries.
With the boundaries and with understanding.
Boundaries and transparency.
Yep.
Because obviously I practice that. Tyler knows, like, the back room conversations that me and have in private. He knows how I want to operate, because as a content creator, as someone that's in front of the camera with this podcast, and now that I'm having my female friends come over and do the things that we do on this platform, I'm hollering at him like, "Hey!"
Oh, it's great. I get that text. It's like, "Hey, bro, we got some girl. I need you to be there." Dude, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, like he knows. Like, every single
no more.
Every single female.
That's how it should be.
Every single female that's been on this podcast is my friend to some capacity. It's not someone that I'm trying that I slid in their DMs and trying to holler at.
I think I just witnessed an accident happen over there. I am so sorry.
Oh.
I heard it.
The entire front section of that car is just smashed in.
Oh no.
Yeah. They look like they were okay. They got out. They got out. They're okay.
Is it the white car?
Yeah, it's the white car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard it, and I'm just like,
I heard it.
Because it was a hard
But you saw
crunch.
it.
Yeah, I thought it was like the AC cutting off.
No, that was the car. That was that car. And I actually think that car hit that. I think that truck.
Oh, that stinks. We're going to hear the ambulance and the fire truck. So be prepared, guys.
Well,
Let me go get my
they're
statement.
okay.
Yeah. But what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, like every single one of the female representatives that represents the female voice, the female perspective, such as yourself, I have either a kinship, a friendship, or a rapport that it's already been built. They know who I am. They know who I'm about, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
But I still have to be transparent. I still have to be accountable with this guy. I still have to be transparent with how I want to operate, and he knows everything that happens behind the scenes.
Can't confirm.
And I tell Ty, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have 2 females on the pod. I need you to be present, right? And that's just like the mature man thing to do. It takes a real man to make those mature, God honoring
And be honest with
choices
the
and decisions.
And be honest with the reasons why it's happening.
Yeah.
And he's like that's what I love about how he's very upfront. Like, this is what it is. I need like I don't want to stumble. He's very upfront. He's very honest with it. I'm like, well, bro, say less.
Yeah.
I'm there. 100%.
Yeah, because Ty knows my past. Because I obviously transparency again. It's like, hey, dude, I struggle with X, Y, Z.
We've had some very.
I came from this past of my life. I dealt with pornography, and I'm very transparent on the pod. I talked about my porn addiction on the pod, and like so. So I hope that answered your question for that great.
Whoever you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a last one because we're already 45, almost an hour in, and I want to talk about other things.
Yeah,
So last questions. Should you forgive someone who's cheated on you and give them another chance? I know forgiveness is a big thing in Christianity.
I need a donut.
And Jesus forgave.
Yeah, there's no good donuts.
And Jesus did forgive, and we are to forgive. But wow.
Hey, Tyler?
Pastor?
Oh, you want me to
You
take
want to
it?
take this one?
You want to take this one? Okay. Forgiveness is not just always an option. I don't want to say it. I mean, essentially, forgiveness is a requirement for Christians.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just gonna be I'm not gonna sugarcoat it anymore for you guys.
But man, cheating, that's a
like
big one.
here's the thing. Forgiveness, forgiveness is not always just you forgiving the other person. It's you blessing the person with forgiveness. It's also you forgiving yourself.
Even if they're not truly sorry?
Even if they're not truly sorry. And I know it's hard for people to hear that, but it's welcome to reality. Now, giving them a second chance. If we didn't believe in second chances, we shouldn't be Christians. Because God and Christ both gave us second chances, and we've blown it time and time again. Imagine if God would have said, you know what, screw this thing called humanity. You guys I've given you chance after chance after chance after chance, and you have squandered it every chance you get. I am done with it. We would not exist. Right. I'm just gonna be honest. We're gonna be straight up and honest. We would not exist. And I mean, the terrible thing is like that. This question even it's terrible that this question even exists.
Right.
Like, should I be able to forgive someone who cheats on me? And of course, the question's like, nah, screw that person. Yeah. Like, that hurts you so deeply that it's almost impossible to come back from. But that's the thing. It's not almost impossible. It is absolutely possible. You can do it because it's not you. It's not your strength. Right. So it is part of what redemption is coming back from the separation from God, bringing him back, bringing you closer to himself, and making you anew again. That is the beautiful thing about redemption. And yes, even with cheaters, and there's a phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't necessarily think that's always true. Right. I have seen it go both ways as well, but I also would have the caveat of like, look, being cautious is always good, but even then, it's like you need to forgive that person.
Yeah.
You need to forgive that person as hard as it may be. Now, second chances, I mean, realistically, again, I'm not saying, hey, just forgive them, forget it never happened. It's like, hey, there now needs to be some accountability. There now needs to be someone to, there needs to be extra eyes on this. And that whole thing, I think is you need to let the prompting of the Spirit guide you about where you go with that. If you feel like God has shut that door for you, God has shut that door.
Yeah.
He did that for a reason. He allowed this to be a thing. Whatever this thing may be, whatever moral failing, quote unquote, that a lot of churches like to use, whatever moral thing happens within a relationship, you have to listen to the Spirit. It's like, is this truly my husband? Is this someone who I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with?
Right.
Is this someone that I have to fight tooth and nail for? That's not something that none of us can answer. That is something that only God can tell you. Yeah. Because God's the one that's writing your story for a particular purpose, for a particular reason, and realistically, you're not the main character. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so when we deal with this, it's like we just like we said earlier, we have to let God handle it first. Yeah. And then whatever comes from that will come from that, and you will feel God speak to you in the way that you need to hear to be able to move forward, whether that's a second chance or not.
Yeah. What about you, Kay?
So I definitely believe in forgiveness. It helps
you don't get
your
out.
heart
Christian.
More than anything. Holding resentment and holding
bitterness.
Yeah, all of that is it's just not healthy for you physically
or spiritually.
Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. It's not good. It's going to hurt. Real bad. Very bad. People fall into depressions. People lose weight. People gain weight. They drown themselves in all these things. But forgiveness should be there. Forgiveness does not always mean acceptance.
Let's go. Yo, Kate is cooking today.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So, yeah, I forgive you. You cheated on me. But I don't have to accept this behavior or this treatment, rather, because it is disrespect.
Right. So you wouldn't go back with someone that cheated on you, right?
So it's a tricky question for me because I'm always like, no, you cheat on me, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, that's like a non-negotiable for you, or a deal breaker for you.
Definitely a deal breaker, right? But let's say I'm married and this happens. It's not as easy to leave, as if you're single.
But you do have the grounds biblically to leave if there is adultery or whatever.
That is for me to evaluate everything and think, okay, is this person really sorry? Is this a one-time thing? What went wrong? How did this even get to this point? And you just gather all that information and you pray like hell. And God will speak to you. Yeah, it's a matter of just figuring things out. And I think it's personal to each person. Yeah. I can't judge you if you stay with somebody or if you leave. Yeah. And then as for me, I would want 99% of the time to be like, no, deuces, I'm out of here. Yeah. But like I said, I don't know what my answer will be if I'm married 10 years, 15 years with that person.
Right, yeah. No, it's important to know your relationship and how it stands with, first and foremost, God. Yep. So if you have a standing, firm relationship with the Lord, counsel with the Lord through prayer is obviously at the top of the list. And then counsel around your church family. You're going to go to your confidants. You're going to go to your spiritual mothers and fathers. And if you're dealing with someone who cheated on you, you're obviously going to seek counsel in that area with those people. So for the person that posed that question, it's not necessarily a black or white thing because it's all depending on the situation. I feel like if you are in a relationship or in a marriage that is, multiple years, X amount of years, and you found out that this person cheated on you because of X, Y, Z, obviously seek the Lord, prayer, have a healthy community around you to surround you in prayer, cover you in prayer, and then seek the Lord within that situation, and He will reveal some things, and He will reveal Himself, or whatever the case may be. But I think that it shouldn't be a doom and gloom thing neither, where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know if I should forgive this person. I don't know whether or not to give this person a second chance. It shouldn't be that. It should be more like, okay, this sucks. I'm hurt, but I serve a great God, and here's where I'm at right now. God's going to meet me somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Because if
Very
God
much.
didn't give us second chances, like Tyler said, you
Right.
know, so who are we to not treat others the same?
And when it comes to forgiving and extending that olive branch of forgiveness, there's a redemption story behind that.
Yeah.
And that follows that. That's my phone.
That was you.
And I apologize.
Yeah, just confused the heck out of me.
So there's a redemption story behind that too. Like it's gonna once you release yourself from building up that confidence and that boldness and that courage to say, you know what, I'm going to forgive this person because it's going to free me from some stuff. It's going to free me from some bitterness. It's going to free me from some resentment. It's going to free me from some anger, from some trauma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And once you forgive that person, it's like a heavy weight of burden just lifts off of your chest. Off your chest, and then you can move on with your life. And in that phase of that, life that you're gonna follow is a redemption story, and it could be a beautiful one if you. It could be a beautiful one if you allow God to intervene. And Connor and Tyler. I don't know why I called you by my nephew's name.
Well, I do act young sometimes.
And I love Connor very much.
I live young.
But he was singing Redemption, and that's kind of how we're going to segue into our redemption.
Well, I mean, I was thinking
redemption conversation of the pod. I feel like redemption is such a beautiful story because we all have one. We all have a.
Excuse me while I get my books out.
Yeah, Pastor Tyler's going to bring out some scripture and some knowledge here through the Word of God. So, amen to that. But I feel like redemption's is real unique, beautifully made narrative that God writes for us.
Yep.
When we allow Him to intervene and intercede on our behalf when we are going through some stuff, when the narrative looks kind of bleak and gloomy and just bleak, we have what we were talking about earlier, those second chances to right our wrongs and move forward with our lives. Have you, when you hear the word redemption, when you hear about people's redemption stories, does it take you back to any area in your life that you experienced in the past where you felt God move in your life in that place?
Oh yeah. I think more specifically, movement is like a huge thing with me and God. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like when he moves me somewhere, it's just always a sign that like something else is coming. And I think for me, it's like all my redemption stories are when I'm moving through seasons.
Yeah.
That's the best way that I can put it. Like I literally don't have any other words for it because it's more of a spiritual experience,
right.
And relational experience between God and I. He definitely redeemed just me as a person throughout my entire walk. I continue to learn. I continue to shed things that are of the world, and I'm continuing to be refined.
Right.
So when I think of redemption, I always think of like those seasons where I come out on the other side more holy per se. Not 100%, of course, because we're not perfect. Yeah. But that's what goes through my mind when I think of that word.
Yeah. What about you, Ty? What you got? Bible. I know you got Bible.
Oh, dude, I got Bible. Actually, you texted me what the subject of this podcast is going to be, and it actually kind of hits home for me because I actually have Ephesians chapter 1 verse 7 tattooed on my back. And it says this: "In Him we have redemption through His blood, the forgiveness of our wrongdoings, according to the riches of His grace." In the next verse, that goes on to say, "which He lavished upon us in all wisdom and insight. Now, for me, it's really funny. That was the first tattoo I ever got. And it was kind of spontaneous, but also it was something that was hitting home for me at the time, because I was going through a time where if I'm going to be honest, I was not finishing up, but I was in the middle of my deconstruction type of era where I was like, I left this particular culture of church, and I was having a hard time tearing apart my faith and that culture.
Especially like that mega church culture.
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Speaking of, yes, actually, we'll talk later. No, I'll give you right now.
Yeah.
But I had to separate it. But so when I was, it was a graduation gift to myself, and so when I got it, it was something about it. I think even at the time I didn't fully know the depth that it was going to be, because part of redemption is deliverance. Is you being taken out of something where you are the imagery it's always used with it is like slave. It's something that you can't escape, like prisoner. You can't escape. You can't escape by yourself. You have to be saved. You cannot do it on your own. Your strength will never be enough. Those chains are way too strong for yourself. So the deliverance part of it is something that it's always in a way that there's someone or something coming to save you from that, to pull you out of that. And so for me, my part of my redemption was like, I was kind of like, you know what, you all, I'm out, I'm done. Like, I'm done with faith, I'm done with God. And God's just like, I'm not done with you yet.
Right.
Good luck. You're gonna find your way back to me. And I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever, God. And immediately turn around too. I was just like, dang it.
Yeah.
like you found another way. And so he kept bringing me back. And so that's why I had a tattoo on my back, because I wanted to be like branded with something that I knew was like in-depth truth of it all. Because even when you look at the verse and you look at it, it's like all wisdom and insight. Okay, it's also what's called like a manifold wisdom. Basically, it's what Paul was saying in this letter. He was saying it like there's a heavenly understanding of it, but there's also an earthly understanding of it all. So it's not just, it's like, oh hey, we just talk about, we just talk about redemption because it's just a heavenly thing. It's like, no, it's a heaven and earthly thing. It's both, and you get both when you get both in Him. We have redemption in Him, and like even when you emphasize, like of course if you emphasize different words, it comes out different every time. But the beautiful thing about this is like when you emphasize that redemption or through, it always is through something that had to be given, and it was His blood that was given for us. That we were washed, that we were just completely washed from that. That like, yes, if you're struggling with porn, if you're struggling with this, if you're doing that, or if you need that, like you are redeemed from that. From that. And it is washed away, because I mean it's funny. It's like blood can be sticky, can leave. It's like, no, but this blood is so pure. It is so genuine. It is something that is not seen of this world, that when it washes over us, it washes everything away.
Amen. Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it too, about it being seasonal. I think there was different seasons in our lives, or different phases of our life. I had my phase where I was that I monikered my BC phase, before Christ phase. So my BC phase was obviously the phase of my life where I was not saved, where I wasn't in relationship with the Lord. I didn't have any type of relationship with God. I was living very worldly. I was doing the 20-year-old thing, 21-year-old. When I was 22, I did the 22-year-old thing, 23, 24. And that's just kind of like the life that I led. I when I went to college, I was 18, going on 19, and then by the time I was done with my freshman year in college, I was already having the college experience, right? And the college experience, not, we don't have to get into details, but everyone that's listening that's of age knows what the quote unquote American college experience is. It just involves drugs, alcohol, partying, and in my case, because I'm a man, fornication. I was out there with living a pretty promiscuous life. I was chasing after women because I thought that was the man thing to do, the manly thing to do, the alpha male thing to do. And so that obviously fizzles out, it's not sustainable. I learned that real fast, real quick, in a very real way. And God intervened in that, and he redeemed me from possibly having kids out of wedlock, possibly having an STD, possibly getting into toxic relationships that could have been detrimental to my life even. You know what I'm saying? So it saved me from a lot of things looking back, right? Yeah. And then my other phase was after I received Christ. I received Christ later in life because, again, I was still in my 20s. I was still struggling with the idea of God and this and that. Although I did see God move in different areas of my life, still the world still had a grip on me, and I couldn't let it go. And plus I was dealing with porn addiction. I was mixing that with alcohol and the occasional drug use. I wasn't addicted to any specific like hardcore drug, but I did experiment with many different types of drugs. But alcohol was very, very pretty prominent in my life during this college experience, right, quote unquote. But then after I received Christ, I just came into terms like, wow, you saved me from a lot of stuff, and I'm a walking miracle, and you see that, and you see that He's writing a story, and that you're just a character in the story. Because He's the narrator, He's the author of your faith and of your story. So looking at that, and people that are listening now and hearing this, I hope that it encourages you, because if you find yourself in this dark place where you feel like the world has a real tight grip on you, trust me, you weren't made for this world to hold you. This world can't hold you, but God can. And once God gets a hold of you, He's never going to let go.
Nope.
Yeah.
Everything will follow after that. There's a verse, right, that says that worship the Lord with all of your heart. And
with all of your heart, your soul, and your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the posture of your heart is just to continuously learn from God and be transformed, refinement will continue to happen every day.
Nice.
It's called sanctification, kids.
Yeah. Big churchy word, but it's really not that complicated. When you're going through sanctification, it's literally you. I think when you make that bold declaration that, Lord, I'm not just asking for forgiveness, but Lord, I repent.
Yes.
I repent. I want to turn my life around. I'm repenting from like the way that I was living, the lifestyle that I was living, and I want to turn around and gaze my eyes on you, focus on you, get off my boat and walk on water, because I know that there's a miracle in me and through me. And if I leave this life and go after you and seek refuge in you, I'm going to be okay. Because again, God's got me. He's holding me. This world it could never hold you. It'll just swallow you and spit you out. So yeah, that's essentially sanctification. It starts with repentance.
Yes, it's the continuous process of becoming more like Christ.
More like Christ. Yep. Yes, sir.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. We're done. Okay, guys.
Hold on. Let me check the camera real quick.
Okay. While Tyler checks the camera. And checks the footage and checks how long we've been on. We've been on for about an hour and 18. We can probably...
Is it really an hour 18 already?
Yeah. Those questions...
Oh, I'm just getting started.
Those questions really, really consumed our time. But that was great questions, though. Yeah. That was really good questions.
Hope everyone likes looking at my butt.
Well, Spotify does not see that. for my Spotify.
Now I am endorsing you go watch the YouTube footage.
Yeah, because it was great.
I know 2 people who will be watching. The same word.
I rewatch it.
He knew exactly.
I do.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about. Okay.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of people would tell me that they watch the clips.
Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah, they watch a lot of the clips. And they'll watch it in doses, like, because it's an hour and 20 sometimes, or an hour and 10, an hour and 30. So I'm always told that, oh yeah, I watch your pods, but I gotta watch it in doses. Like, I'll watch it on my car ride to the gym, to the car ride back home, to the car ride to work.
That's the whole point. Is you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, so that's the whole point.
Take as long as you need.
Yeah, I
Soak it in.
I have to force myself to rewatch because I sometimes cringe when I hear my own voice. I know that sounds kind of weird.
I do too.
No.
I cringe when I hear my own voice, when I see how
I can barely make it like 2 minutes. Like, I really sound like that? Oh god.
I know, and then sometimes when I'm rewatching the YouTube footage, I'm like, oh, do I really move my hands like that a lot?
Yeah.
It's like, why do I do this a lot?
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
So I'm more controlled now that I have the mic. I try not to do that more. But like, even when I watch myself and my cadences and my mannerisms, I'm doing it now. So I get self-conscious about that. But you know what? That's who I am. That's what I do. If you don't like it, whatever. I'm from New York. What do you want?
I'm from New York.
What do you want? Forget about it.
I'm walking here.
But yeah, it's been great. I don't know if Tyler wants to touch more on redemption.
Do you have anything else you want to say while I unscrew this? Because this is so annoying me.
Oh,
I'm going to untouch this real quick so people don't hear scratching in their ears.
All right.
I can't take it anymore.
But let's applaud Kayla today. You were cooking
You
today,
fire, girl.
That mic was on fire. Hold on, let me fan that mic real quick.
So you gotta get a new microphone, Javi.
Yeah, shoot.
And I didn't even know what we were talking about today.
Do we ever?
I mean,
welcome to the podcast.
Even if you say, "Oh, we're talking about this," then
yeah,
goes in different directions.
that's because it's so spirit led,
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
It is complete. This whole podcast is just completely impromptu from the moment of its inception.
Yeah,
it was just impromptu. Really, inception was, hey, Javi, let's just try this out. Okay, record. First episode.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And I think too that like even throughout the year and 2 years of doing this, like whenever I know I'm having you, Ty, or whoever I have, like I'll text you guys a couple days before and let you know like a general idea as to what I like to cover. But even then, it's a lot of improv.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff that's in our heart in the moment.
I mean, an accident happened. We didn't plan that.
Yeah. So and sometimes even Ty will tell you, like sometimes it's just off the cuff stuff.
I feel like, to be honest, those are always the best episodes.
Yeah, those are the best.
Do you remember that one? You told me it was like one of the higher ones. It was an episode of you and I did something about. Oh my gosh, what was it? It was about church culture.
The state of the church culture.
No, I don't think it was that. It was something else. I can't remember. I gotta look back at it. But I was like, dude, that entire conversation was like, didn't even mean to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't even supposed to happen.
It just happened.
It just did. And it was great. And then it's like, you're like, oh, it's the most shared video. And I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Sound like an idiot all over the world.
Look at God. Redemption, bro.
Look at God. Some rapper, Propaganda, get on it. Just make a song about that.
I know, right? But
Minor. I was about to say this. I'll just give it royalties, give it some props.
Yeah.
Help with this podcast, bro.
But real quick, because it is also a Thanksgiving. We're gearing for Thanksgiving.
Amen.
But let's utilize the last couple of minutes, and we'll start with Kay. Of what you're grateful for. And we'll finish the pod with that.
I'm grateful for so much. I'm grateful to be starting my
I know you're gonna
art teaching position
at
an
fifth grade, right? Fifth grade?
K through 5th. Yeah,
Yes,
so
let's
I'm
go.
gonna have a bunch of classes.
Yeah.
It's been 5 months of just like praying and wondering what the heck to do. And of course, in God's perfect timing, everything fell into place.
Let's go.
So very grateful for that.
There's a special place in heaven for teachers.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no biblical reasoning behind it. I'm just saying.
I think it's the patience
Yeah.
that we acquire.
It's not just patience,
It's quite
bro.
rare.
It's also the heart of being able to share and feed into the next generation, because and knowing you're going to get no credit, knowing you don't get paid well.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, I'm showing all the
But man, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Because you have a heart for kids. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's a W right there.
And it gives me time so my baby fever could chill out a little bit. Grateful for my family. Grateful for my friends. Anchor Church, just meeting everyone.
Right.
Everyone has been so just welcoming. Yeah. And awesome.
There's some great people.
Yeah.
Very
really great people.
And Pastor Sean, shouts to Pastor Sean.
Yes.
I saw Sean the other day.
Yeah.
Right here. Actually, literally right there.
Yeah. Shout out to our pastor. Pastor be lit. He be lit.
Grateful for my boyfriend.
Yeah, ZK.
We gotta play basketball soon. Zeke, I'm calling you out.
Yeah. Made me a better person. Crazy. Yeah, and just living, breathing, have all my limbs, food, a roof over my head.
Let's go.
And all of that.
But kudos for that job opportunity.
Yeah,
that's a W. That's a W.
That's a double place.
How about you? What are you grateful for?
I would like to take this time to thank Beyonce's video is way better. I'm just kidding.
You're funny.
Oh boy, I'm hilarious. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the things that I take for granted, and but I'm of course I'm deeply thankful for my family, my parents who have been. Well, I want to rephrase that. I'm thankful for my family. Deeply thankful. I'm also thankful for an amazing stepmother who her and her parents took me in as one of their own, and who really showed me what true love looked like, even though we're not actually related.
Yep.
Awesome.
And my I just call him grandpa. You know, grandma's home with the Lord. But Grandpa's actually here, so I'm going to be spending some time with him in the next a lot of time in the next few days, which I'm very thankful for. They really showed me what true love of Christ really looks like.
Wow,
and
that's beautiful.
And so I'm very thankful to them. Thankful that I can live, provide for myself, and of course I am very thankful for Marla, deeply thankful for her and her impact in my life. I'm also in a weird way thankful for the challenges and the misery that I face when I do certain things, because in a weird way, as much as it frustrates the heck out of me, I know for a fact that it's God kind of going like, here's a lesson I need you to learn.
Wow.
Here's the thing I need you to learn. Here's the thing I need you to pay attention to. And it's like, God, please stop.
Right.
But I keep going. But of course, then I want to be thankful for the pastors who have just taken me under their wings.
Awesome.
Who they ribbed the heck out of me, call me intern, so much, too much. In fact, I'm in the front as the intern. It's wonderful. It's a long running joke from when we went to a conference in Orlando, but I'm very thankful for them, their leadership, their push, their push and their guidance.
Yeah.
It's something that I know for a fact is helping me in the long run.
Yeah.
I want to get more spiritual with it, but I would be here for the rest of my life. And
the end.
I think I'm just gonna call it there because I can hear Navik in the back of my head going, "Shut up and move on already."
All right, so I'll make mine.
Thankful for Navi.
We're so thankful for Navi.
Well, beautiful human being. Someone wife her up. Seriously, wife her up. That is an amazing human being that will love you to death and can cook and just is a geek and is just so passionate. Like, seriously, Navi, if you have not met Navi, have you met Navi?
I have not.
Yeah.
She is the lady who is basically, she's the one that keeps Sean on track.
Yeah.
Her whole job is to make sure that worship knows where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
She always puts up all the, she is the best.
Anchor Live, everything.
She
Awesome.
takes care of it all. She's in the back. She's always wearing black.
Mm-hmm. She has big hair.
Big poofy
hair.
curly hair. And you can find her wearing really cool jewelry. Usually 9 times out of 10 it's something Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I have met her.
You probably had there's no way you haven't been to Anchor Church for longer than like a couple weeks and don't know who Navik is.
Yeah.
Because even Sean in his message was like, "Hey Navik, put that back up."
Yeah.
Like he gives her shout outs all the time. So
All right, what I'm thankful for.
sorry,
Real quick.
Javi, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Oh, typical cop out answer.
I know. No, I'm not going to give you a cop out answer, but it will be nice and quick because I'm sure everybody wants to end this episode listening.
I'm pretty sure they've already given up.
They're probably giving up, but I'm still say this. I'm thankful for obviously family. I'm thankful for just like the people that like championed me, that applaud me, that encouraged me, even when I decided to do this thing of content creation, getting the podcast space in the YouTube world. So I'm thankful for them. I'm even thankful for the haters and the ones that really didn't believe in me. I'm thankful for them as well. I'm thankful for my dad, my mom, my brother. I'm thankful for this man right here for believing in me, to doing this and stuff like that.
Stop! You make me blush.
I'm thankful for Addie. I love you.
Addie, I love you too. You're amazing. Marla loves you too.
I love you more than Javi.
Oh my gosh! I'm not even gonna
Okay,
go.
Totally
hold
not
on.
I
That's
am
no. That's a real thing where someone like, okay, Marla. My family loves Marla more than they love me. 110%.
No, that's not true. It's a different kind of love, bro.
Yeah.
No. Grandma has straight up said, she goes, I would adopt you over him.
Dude, that's a conversation for another pod, bro.
Grandma, I love you, and I'm.
But yeah, Addie, I love you. Just the people that just believe in me, I'm just grateful for. And lastly, because this might encourage someone right now, be grateful as such as I am and thankful for the season that I'm in. I'm not really where I want to be, but I know that God has me here for preparation, to equip me, to empower me for the next phase of whatever life has for me. So be thankful for the things that you necessarily don't think you want to be thankful for, but just come into terms that even in the area where you feel you shouldn't be because you feel like you should be somewhere else, just be thankful for where you're at now. Because you're going to thank yourself later when you are reaping the fruits of your labor, the fruits and the harvest of what is to come. So I encourage you guys to stay the course, to stay mindful of that. Nothing that looks bleak and dark is forever. This too shall pass. The storm will pass, and you'll be running through the greener pastures, and I'll leave it at that.
Great golden bars.
And on that note, please, if you love this podcast, if you
subscribe,
share, like somewhere down here, up here.
Okay,
Spotify, please keep sharing those links because my Spotify is going off the chain right now. Thank you for my Spotify listeners. I appreciate y'all. So continue to share those links. If you feel that these talks is going to touch someone that you may know, a neighbor, a coworker, a family member, send that link to your significant other or to whomever, so they can be encouraged and plugged into our talks. All right, guys? Till the next time, have a great and safe Thanksgiving. We love you. Peace.